Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my students? I hope you are all well. Today we will learn about Surah Ash-Shams, verses from 9 to 15. Our lesson steps: as usual, we recite Holy Quran and say the dua. Second, the recitation of Quranic verses and explain the tanween. Third, explain the overall meaning of the Surah Ash-Shams. Plenary, at the end of the lesson, our activities time. The time of dua. Let's read the dua in Arabic, then in English. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa rizqan tayyiba wa amalan mutaqabbala. Oh Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge, godly provision, and acceptable deeds. Your target today to find out the general meaning of the verses from 9 to 15. Starter, who can tell me who a prophet was sent by Allah to a people of the moon and his miracle with the camel? Was excellent, and tell me. Definition of the surah. Who can tell me how many verses in Surah Ash-Shams? What the number of Surah Ash-Shams in Holy Quran? Surah Ash-Shams revealed in Mecca or Medina? Now let's listen to the verses of Surah Ash-Shams from 9 to 15.
So for 2 lessons, we've talked about the short vowels in Arabic. They are Fatha, Dhamma, and Kasra. And today we're going to talk about the possibility of doubling these short vowels to produce a new sound. This phenomenon is called tanween. Tanween means adding n or noon at the end of the word. We only add it in pronunciation, but we don't actually add it in writing. So for example, the letter ba with a short vowel will be ba, bu, bi. But if we're gonna double this short vowel, it will be ben, bun, and bin. And the addition of n or noon at the end of the word is the effect of tanween. We should notice that only in case of adding tanween of fatha, you need to add alif at the end of the word if the word doesn't end with alif. So how does this look with a real word? A word like kitab, which means book, if we want to add tanween at the end of kitab, we're going to have to add an alif at the end of kitab because it is tanween fatha. And for tanween dhamma and kasra, we can just add it at the end of the word. So kitab becomes kitaban, kitabun, and kitabin. Now you must be wondering, why does this even exist? What is the purpose of tanween? Let's be clear about that. There are so many reasons why we use tanween, and I'm not going to talk about all of them here today. But the most major reason and the most common one is using tanween as an indefinite article. Indefinite article, in English, for example, they are a and n. So instead of using a and n in English, we're using tanween in Arabic. So we can translate a book in English to kitaban, or we can also translate it to kitabun or kitabin. Now you must be wondering, when do we use each of them? This depends, of course, on the position of the word in the sentence. But we're not going to go deeper into this part yet because this is related.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
والشمس وضحاها
والشمس وضحاها
والقمر إذا تلاها
والقمر إذا تلاها
والنهار إذا جلاها
والنهار إذا جلاها
والليل إذا يغشاها
والليل إذا يغشاها
والسماء وما بناها
والسماء وما بناها
والأرض وما طحاها
والأرض وما طحاها
ونفس وما سواها
ونفس وما سواها
فألهمها فجورها وتقواها
فألهمها فجورها وتقواها
قد أفلح من زكاها
قد أفلح من زكاها
وقد خاب من دساها
وقد خاب من دساها
كذبت ثمود بطغواها
كذبت ثمود بطغواها
إذ انبعث أشقاها
إذ انبعث أشقاها
فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها
فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها
فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها
فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها
ولا يخاف عقباها
ولا يخاف عقباها
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
والشمس وضحاها
والشمس وضحاها
والقمر إذا تلاها
والقمر إذا تلاها
والنهار إذا جلاها
والنهار إذا جلاها
والليل إذا يغشاها
والليل إذا يغشاها
والسماء وما بناها
والسماء وما بناها
والأرض وما طحاها
والأرض وما طحاها
ونفس وما سواها
ونفس وما سواها
فألهمها فجورها وتقواها
فألهمها فجورها وتقواها
قد أفلح من زكاها
قد أفلح من زكاها
وقد خاب من دساها
وقد خاب من دساها
كذبت ثمود بطغواها
كذبت ثمود بطغواها
إذ انبعث أشقاها
إذ انبعث أشقاها
فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها
فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها
فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها
فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها
ولا يخاف عقباها
ولا يخاف عقباها
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله.
After we listen to the verses, let's read what the meaning of these verses. Look at the three. Here the last two verses. Let's read and know what the meaning of the verses. Here the overall meaning of the verse. Who can tell me which one is more correct and why? It was excellent, and tell me the answer. At the end of the lesson, our activities time. Thank you, my students. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.